Hey, it's Mike over at fishyourassoff.com, and today what we're talking about is catching redfish with topwater lures. It's my favorite way. I just love fishing topwater lures. You know, a lot of people think that you only fish topwater lures first thing in the morning or late or at night, but the fact of the matter is a lot of times you can fish them all day. Usually the morning is best. Well, let's just face the facts, but you can fish them all the time. So what I want to cover in this video is the right colors to use for different conditions, water clarity conditions, whenever you're fishing it. I want to go over some of the gear. I want to go over some of the actual lures that I use, depending on what's going on to catch redfish, and just, you know, when to catch them, things like that, you know, how to do it. What else? Oh yeah. I also created a free online redfish fishing course. You can get that below. There'll be a link below here. It's just going to take you to the Fish Your Ass Off website. It's a series of videos just teaching you from getting the right gear all the way down to how to catch them with live bait, this bait, that bait, whatever, this lure. So check that out too. Yeah, let's get started. All right. So redfish. Redfish are actually one of those fish that you can find all over the place, okay? You can find them down deep. I've seen sometimes where there's a bunch of mullet around and, you know, usually they're on the bottom. Let's face the fact. Usually they're hugging the bottom, they're near the bottom doing something. But I've found them where, say it's 6 feet of water and there's a lot of mullet. The mullet schools are coming through. They'll come off the bottom and slam those mullet on top. So you can catch them in just about every part of the water column. Now, if you're in 20 feet of water, you ain't gonna catch a redfish on top. But, you know, in my world, you know, I'm a kayak fishing guide if you don't know who I am, and I've been fishing for 40 years in the intercoastal, you know, all the oyster bars, mud flats, grass flats, mangroves for that long. And redfish are one of my favorites to catch. So my little world is basically from about 6 or 7 feet to 0. So I fish skinny water most of the time, probably 4 feet of water most of the time. So that's my perspective. So when I say every part of the water column, I mean in shallower type situations that you have inshore. You are not going to be fishing in 20, 30 feet of water and catch a redfish on top. Let me just be clear about that. But in 6 feet of water, if there's a lot of bait activity and it's on top, they will come up and hit that, along with a lot of these other predatory fish, the tarpon, the trout, whatever's around there will actually hit that. So that's what I mean by that. Okay. Redfish. Too hot or too cold, they're going to be down deep, so you can't target them with top water. You're going to have a jig or something like that, that's going to get you down deep to target them, because they are going to be towards the middle or the bottom part of the water column when the water is too hot or too cold for them. So top water is out of the question. So that basically tells you something too about time of day. So a lot of times in the winter time, the best time to catch them out on the flats where it's real shallow with top water is going to be after the water's had a chance to kind of heat up. So the sun's actually heating up on them. The reverse is true in the summer. In the summer, it's too hot. So you better hit the flats early, because they're going to head down deep later if you want to target them with top water. So that's what I mean by that. Okay. Techniques. Now, bar none, the walk the dog topwater lure technique. I don't know if it's just my opinion, but I've tried every kind of, you know, lip lures, every kind of lure that there is for top water. And the top water walk the dog type of lures just perform better day in and day out than all the other ones. I don't know what it is about it, but they work. Here's a typical walk the dog type of lure, right? They basically look like a cigar with hooks on it. Let me show you another one. That one was a Yozuri. This is a Zara Spook. So they're basically a cigar with hooks. But here's the technique to walk the dog. It's just a zigzag pattern like this, but you've got to learn how to do this if you really want to catch a ton of fish with top water. So let's say that this is the surface of the water. Here's your lure. Walking the dog just means you get it to go like this. So all you need is your lure to go like that, all right? Once you get this technique down, you are money. You are gonna catch whatever it is you wanna catch. Bass, tarpon, speckled trout, redfish, you name it, you're gonna catch it, okay? And if they're being finicky, stop it, and then start it up again. Often you'll get a hit right after that, because what they'll do is they'll follow it, and they'll stop when it stops, and as soon as it moves again, they'll hit it. Yeah, this is walk the dog. You have got to learn this technique. And this technique is actually not hard. You can't see the tip with this. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you the gear, best gear to use for these lures too. But basically, you have a couple choices. You can use it with an upper thing like this. It's just going to go like that, or a lower, with your rod tip down like this. So think about it. If you're wading, you can't do the lower one because your tip will be in the water. So the downward way to walk the dog is going to work well when you're fishing off a boat or off the shore or off a dock or whatever it is where you're up, right? You can do the downward thing because your tip's not going to hit. But learn them both. Learn top and bottom. Because you got to learn how to do this. It's just such a deadly fishing technique. It just works so well. And another thing with any kind of topwater fishing is you've got to match the size of the actual fish that they're feeding on. I know a lot of times you can't see what they're actually feeding on. I start big and go smaller when I actually can't see what's going on. But if you can see, just try to do it. Try to match it. So for instance, something like this. This is a threadfin herring, scaled sardine, little bitty thing. 2 inches long, this thing is right here, okay? And if they're feeding on something this small, give them something this small. Now let's say that they're on the little baby finger mullet. Well, there you go. Give them something like that. Now notice the exaggerated hooks on this. See the size of these hooks? When I get rid of the treble hooks as soon as I get any rust on them. I don't buy any of these either. I always find these, but I'm on the water so much that I always find lures in the trees and stuff. So what I do is I switch over to single hooks, because the treble hooks, I've just injured so many fish over the years. They get blinded, their eyes get poked out, it tears their, stabs them here, and I feel really bad. And you really don't miss that many more fish. You will miss more fish. Maybe 1 out of 8 fish I'll miss now because of a single hook, and I should have had a treble hook. But I'm not fishing in a tournament. I don't care. It's not like I just lost $1 million. I lost a fish, and in the meantime, I didn't maim 8 other fish because I had treble hooks on. Please take the treble hooks off. You don't need them. You don't need them. Once you perfect these techniques and you learn, just give them a second when they hit it before you set the hook, or you'll rip it out of their mouths. Once you just learn when to set the hook, you are not going to lose that many fish. Trust me when I tell you that, you're not. All right, match the size, get the right rod and reel. Okay, right rod and reel. Of all the years of doing this, I've come to figure out that if I can only grab one reel to fish the flats for redfish, trout, tarpon. When I say tarpon, I mean tarpon under 4 feet long, not the big ones. Redfish, tarpon, speckled trout, flounder, whatever it is I'm fishing for out there. 3500 series reel, 7-foot, medium heavy action rod. This is an ugly stick. They're real cheap. They're always about 50, 60 bucks. They're made out of fiberglass. They're perfect. I mean, the rods are cheap. The guides and stuff break all the time. But just get good at switching out the guides or keeping them. I'm telling you, it's worth it. These fiberglass ugly stick rods are just so tough. You can get a graphite rod, and it's a more expensive one, and it's going to be super light, so it's going to be easier to pitch all day long, but they snap easier, so they're less durable, I guess is what I'm saying. But do that. And top water. People just see top water and they're like, well, just grab a color and go. But the fact of the matter is, all these different top waters, like I was saying before with size, that's a big one. So when the mullet and stuff are bigger, you go bigger. But it's color. It's color that you want. So when it's a real sunny sky and the water's real clear, I like to fish something light like this. This is a bone-colored Zara spook. Now let's say that the water's pretty murky. Well, I want to go with something darker, like this. Because remember, they're just seeing the silhouette of it. You want the contrast. They're looking up at it. So you want to go with something dark. This is another good one for nighttime, is this color. Something really dark like this. For fishing dirty water or nighttime, or when it's super cloudy like it is right now. Or when in doubt, just go with natural. Every fish looks like this, just about, that they're gonna eat. Every fish that redfish is gonna be going after has probably a light belly and a dark top, and that's just the way it is. So when in doubt, pitch something natural. But you know, redfish don't see this, all these bait fish, they really don't see the spectrum like we do. You know, most of them have reds and greens, cones or rods. I don't remember which one it is. But anyways, they can't see it, you know? So think of a rainbow, Roy G. Biv, right? Red, orange, yellow, green. Well, they really aren't usually seeing much past the green, most predatory fish, bass, you know, all these things. So really, it's basically dark and less dark to them a lot of times, or light and less light to them, you know? So they'll probably might see a chartreuse as just being kind of off-white, in other words, if you get what I'm saying. So, yeah, so just, you know, think about that too. Most of the fancy colors and things, when you go to Bass Pro Shops or wherever you get your lures, are basically to catch fishermen as much as they are to catch fish. Because believe me, it's the technique and the action that matters more than the colors or anything else. The right size and the right action is what catches you the fish. So just know that. I think I already mentioned online course, but anyways, free online redfish course below. This video should be in the description. But I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. So that was it for, oh, you can find more of this right on our website. Just go to fishyourassoff.com and you go to the pro tips page. It's hundreds, well, I don't know, hundreds, but over 100 of different articles about how to catch this, how to catch that, when to catch this, when to catch that. It's all right there. Go check it out. That's it for today. So until next time, we'll see you then. All right. Bye-bye.